it's like, just hit record without anybody knowing.
And then we can go from there.
Let's go from there.
All right. Well, that's actually what I just did. So
wonderful.
Welcome to the grounding room, everybody. I have a very special guest here today. Her name is Aurelia. She's a Reiki Master, and she's going to teach us a little bit about what Reiki is for those of you who don't know what Reiki is. So I have a ton of questions to ask Aurelia, but before we get started, I want to welcome you, Aurelia, and give you the opportunity to talk about anything coming up for you that you want people to know about.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I have a lot of things coming up in the works. I've got some Reiki classes that I'll be teaching. I'll be doing some workshops at Cilantro Chic, and I will also be teaching classes there. And I have horse Reiki that's also part of an experience or part of a session that you can do as well. So you can find all my information on my website at aureliaandrioli.com.
You want to spell that for them?
Yeah,
probably spell
a lot
it.
of vowels. It's AURELIANDREOLI.com. You can also find me on social media and with like Instagram and Facebook. But if you go to my website, you'll just basically find everything there that you need and information that's up and coming.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Also, very excited to talk about the horse thing. I want to know more about that. So actually, why don't we just start there? So how did you get into the horses?
Surprisingly, I was very fearful of horses. I had, I think, only one experience that I recall about being, I think, 15 or 16 years old, going for just a trail ride on a horse. And I was fearful. I was like, they're massive, they're big. I'm kind of looking into more of why that experience was unpleasant to me, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. However, I just did not know a lot about horses, was really fearful of the size and just everything with them. So I just avoided them completely. And then I started doing Reiki, and for some reason, I felt drawn to being around a horse and trying it. I was very curious. I was like, what's this like horses and Reiki thing? And I think I saw something online. And a friend of mine had a horse, and she would talk about her horse all the time. And her horse's name was Baby. And I was like, oh, she sounds kind of sweet and very kind. And I was offering just to give her Reiki. So
wait, is this Becca?
This is totally Becca.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she was like, yeah, I would love Reiki. And I was like, well, actually, can I throw a little twist in there? Can I give Reiki to you and your horse? I hear there's something here, and I have no idea. I go, but by the way, I'm petrified of horses. And so she was like, okay, let's do it. And it was like, I think it was like February. It was the coldest freaking day. There was snow on the ground. I mean, we had like tons of layers on. We had to go, I think when I got there, we actually had to go get the horse like out of the corral or something. And so we had to there was other horses and we're covered. I mean, it was so freezing. And I was like, this is insane. Like, what are we doing? And then we brought the horse in, and she introduced her to me, and the size was just massive, and all of this uncomfortable feelings that I was having. But was like, we're doing this. And we, surprisingly, we were in there by ourselves, and we put a chair in the paddock area, or the corral, inside the barn. And I actually had the video camera, and I put the video camera on, and I had music. And I was like, I'm going to sit you in the chair and give you Reiki. And I would just like to have your horse be around, and let's see what happens. And it was absolutely magical.
Oh.
So the horse was looking at the camera, very confused because I was playing music in that direction. And then the horse stood next to me and stood next to Becca. And she kind of held her ground, but then was very curious. But then also for myself, I had to learn how to hold my own space. So I had to be okay, there's fear here because you're a large horse. However, I trust my friend, and I trust the fact that she knows this horse won't eat me or kill me. And so I held space for that and did my thing with Reiki, and the horse got really involved in that. And I found that I was able to amplify the energy that the horses can give just being around them.
Very cool.
And they also have this beautiful way of connecting at a deeper level for the caregiver and the horse. And it kind of like brings them in this space where it's almost like, from my understanding, it's like you kind of lose sight of where the present moment is right now. And so it kind of gives you this new way of communicating, this new way of understanding each other. And so that was all going on. And then at one point, I remember being down by Becca's legs, and the horse was now putting her head like near my hands and like near my face. And I literally just released. Like I released so much fear and so much emotions, and by the idea, like what was happening. Cause like Becca was like, she was like in a trance, like she was in her own space, not sure like what was going on. I'm here sobbing and like releasing. And I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And
I can see the emotion in your eyes even now.
It was, it was just so opening of so many different things for me because of that. And I think that really kind of snowballed into working with animals more and just exploring Reiki at a whole different level for me.
I love that. I love that.
It was really, really cool. And I actually, I have the video, so I think I'm going to be posting it at some point, like the full footage. It's pretty raw.
Yeah.
It's pretty,
who cares though?
Yeah, but it's pretty, it's even like, it's kind of grainy and stuff, but you get the idea of it. And actually, I think it's little surprises in there. So yeah.
I love
really,
that.
Really great.
I love that.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that I had for you is in order to understand where you are now, can you bring us back to the beginning, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's childhood or as far as your intuition and, you know, your drive to go into Reiki came from?
There's so much stuff that I was thinking about this, and there's so much stuff from my childhood that I feel like is a little bit undescribable still. To kind of give like a background, even like before Reiki, my mother was very into like metaphysics, and I kind of grew up in a household as she was practicing to keep like exploring, and found these ways to explore energy. And she never really called it Reiki. So we would play these games of like pass the energy ball, and we would like, she did this remarkable thing of like bringing insects back to life. Like if they would die, and she would just put them in her hands, and they would come back to life. Yeah.
That was so interesting.
Pretty remarkable stuff. She never really called it Reiki, but energy comes in all different forms.
Oh, for sure.
So, you know, obviously. So for me, I think having the umbrella of Reiki was a way to like introduce it back into my life differently. As a teenager, I found that I had a lot of healing abilities, and I had a lot of other abilities or gifts, as you call them, particularly being like a medium. And at the time, it was just too much for me. So I kind of shut things off and was like, I'm good. I'm out. I'm out. Like, you know, like I don't need to talk to anybody. Thank you so much. I have my own things to deal with. And so fast forward to about my 30s. I think I was in my 30s. Yeah. My experience that I first experienced that was probably labeled under Reiki was when my friend was passing away, and I was in hospice with her, and in a situation where I've never been and didn't know what to do. And she, this woman comes in and was like, would you like to give your friend Reiki, as she was laying in her bed? And I said, I have no idea what that is. And she, you know, showed me, she's like, we'll just give her some peace. We'll make her feel very calm, and she can hear you, but she can also feel you. So she showed me in that hospice bed what to do, and we sat there and gave her Reiki, and it felt very, very peaceful, very comforting, very calming. And it gave me an opportunity to feel like I was giving something to my friend that when she needed that the most. And yeah, I didn't really think about it much after that because it helped me in that space and in that moment. And then something, I guess it didn't really come back into play until later. And fast forward maybe about like 15 years later. And just going through life changes and getting a divorce. And it was one of those things that was kind of in the back of my mind for a long time, like, psst, hey, you should try Reiki again. And I was like, like, you should do this. And it's like, no, another time. And I had a lot of those moments probably with over those 15 years because my friend also like communicated with me in ways after she passed. And I was like, oh, there she is. And there she is. And I never really like kind of put everything together until I started my first Reiki class. And I kind of signed up. There was other little moments, of very small moments. My daughter got into it and she would give me Reiki once in a while to like help fall asleep. But it was never something that really resonated enough to be like, I need to go do this now. And I think that was the moment, I think like shortly after I got divorced that I was like, or filed for divorce, that I was like, hey, it's time. And I signed up for the class. I really had done no research on purpose because I tend to overread and overanalyze everything. So I was like, we're walking in, we have no idea. And she attuned me. And it was one of those things like a week later. It was amazing. So she attuned me. My whole experience was absolutely like magical and beautiful and amazing. And I was like, this is it. This is what I need to do. And surprisingly, really quick, a lot of those gifts that I received as a child or had experienced as a child quickly came coming back. And I had this moment where it felt as if there was like hundreds and hundreds of people in a train station.
Waiting for you?
Waiting for me. I remember
How'd that feel? A little pressure?
I remember showing up for class and I was like, so there's these people that keep like coming around and talking to me. And my teacher at the time, she was like, so do you want to learn Reiki or do you want to be a medium? And I was like, I came for Reiki right now. And she's like, okay, well, we can pause this other stuff and you can always go back to it. And so for a good part of my practice, I was like, okay, I'm good without being a medium for some time. So I had to really learn how to do Reiki on myself. And I really like that was the whole point of it. I was like, I needed to learn how to take care of myself before I started taking care of other people. Sure. And that self Reiki practice really helped me just like diminish and get rid of a lot of my stress, a lot of my anxiety, and how to really like just function in those high stressful and uncomfortable situations in life. And I think that really set me up for being able to help others differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the world needs that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Totally.
sure. So for all the listeners who have no idea what Reiki is, can you share with us what is Reiki?
So Reiki is a Japanese healing technique. A healing technique that basically helps reduce stress and promotes balance and feeling calm and relaxation. And that is done by the practitioner channeling the universal energy of the life force of life and that connection, that deeper connection with the energy of the world around us. And you do that by either touching someone or raising your hands above somebody. And you basically kind of channel that energy, that really calm, peaceful flow, and just the gorgeousness of life through you to the other person. And that helps balance their energy. It's not like basically, it's not taking my energy and, pushing it into somebody else. It's not that at all. It's helping a person get to that relaxed state to really feel calm And when they feel that space of calm, and they can have a lot of clarity and just feel at ease. And there's so many things in life that create this noise and this chaos. And some people just forget how to do that. And I basically am like, psst, hey, remember me? I'm the life energy force. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like people are definitely, the noise is out of control right now. I think, even if you just look at just phones alone, the noise that is, disrupting the calm and peace in our lives, that in itself, never mind the rest of the world and what's going on, I think we do forget how to be calm. And then we also forget what it feels like to have our nervous system regulated enough to actually just breathe.
Right. Absolutely. And just sit and be present. I think that's a practice that people forget easily, of course.
100%.
How to do that. To just like throw your phones on, do not disturb, and be like, all right, here's a chunk of time where I'm just going to be like 10 minutes and I'm just going to be fully present in that moment.
Well, and I feel like even people can't even do that where they're just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't hurt to just sit outside for 10 minutes without your phone, without knowing if anybody needs you, without knowing if there's an emergency going on. Just 10 minutes to do literally nothing. Yeah. Hear the birds, smell the air, feel the wind on your face, hear the leaves blowing. And, we forget even what the simplicity of our five senses and what our five senses give to our body. And I say this to my sister all the time, just go outside and do nothing. Just don't have a purpose. Just try to
it's
not.
The best. Think about it being like a little kid, right? Yeah. You would just go outside and you're like on the swings or pretending you can talk to animals or just like talking to the wind and all of these magical moments. And you're just like, what did we do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't do anything.
Imagination.
Yeah.
And be in that space. Like it's so filling. It's so nourishing and it so recharges you so much.
Yeah. And I feel like with Reiki, to bring somebody just to remember what that calm, peaceful feeling feels like. I think that the yearning for that is to want more, right? To even if it's 20 minutes tomorrow, how can
I schedule like 3 hours of do not disturb time?
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely feel like it's necessary right now. So we actually talked a little bit about this before we even started recording, but I love this question. Reiki is often debated in the scientific circles of our world. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering how you handle the skepticism around Reiki and things like energy healing.
Yeah, I just don't listen to it, first of all. I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion, for sure, because it's a lot of woo-woo. I feel sometimes that people are like, oh, it's woo-woo. Like, you can't see it. It's not believable.
Okay. What I do is woo-woo too, which is why we work so well together. Yeah. And funny, like I say this all the time because to put in perspective what the word woo-woo is, modern technology and medicine has been around for like 150 to 200 years. Woo-woo has been around for 7,000 years and it's been successing.
Incredibly successful.
Yeah. So I think we have been trained in our culture to disregard it as something that, it didn't work the first time. So it's just nothing, whatever. Or, I'll just take a pill. Like that's just quicker. Yeah. You know what I mean? 10 minutes of having peace in your life.
Yeah.
Could be a whole day on mood stabilizers, to remind yourself that. Right. So, I think the woo-woo stuff is good, but I love that you don't listen to the skeptics.
I really don't. I feel like there's not time for that. And then those people are just not my people.
Sure.
I try not to convince people of what I need to do.
Sure.
Or
how do you personally interpret the concept of energy healing?
That question is really hard for me to answer.
Good.
I read that and I was like, I don't know how to answer that. Because like it's so.
Well, I think you opened up a little bit in the beginning about it. Like you were interpreting. Oh, that was the point of the last thing I was going to say was when you were like, I wasn't in the right space at different times in my life. Yeah. So maybe it's somebody who's not accepting the woo-woo of what we're doing. Mm-hmm. It's just not the time for the space for it, which is fine.
I fully agree with that.
Yeah. I have a client right now that I'm doing somatic work on that. When I talk to her, she'll say things where I'll be like, let's investigate or explore this. And she'll say things like, I'm not ready for that yet. And so I'm like, I love that she's intuitive enough to know that she's not ready for that. So we can just, take the train a different path. Like it's no big deal. But when you were mentioning that yourself, and then to think it came full circle, where I'm getting divorced. This might actually be the exact time that So
and I think it had to be like bottled up. So I really feel that it had to be kind of like tight on the bottle, be like, nope. So I can do other things in my life and not. It's the timing is always right. Yeah. It's the way I look at it. It's always right. And I think you're right. It's the time, but even like the timing of opening up to be like a medium. Like I had to wait until I was feeling confident enough with Reiki, and then now it's literally part of my practice. It's comfortable enough to be like, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
This is random, but I would just want to talk about that for a minute. Well, I think just to educate people out there, because I think even if it's not you that they're going to, but any Reiki practitioner, I think everybody should ask the question, like, can we save space for after the session to have conversations? Because I don't feel like it's unique to you that the medium part of it would be integrated into that. I think that's fairly common with Reiki.
I believe so. I believe that some people just don't choose to do it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I do think there's a place for both of them together. But so if you're getting Reiki and you're like, oh, that felt great, ask your practitioner to leave space to have the conversation after. And I think that's a challenge that you and I have gone through. So for context, Aurelia and I have been working, I do massage therapy and she does Reiki, and we've been integrating that practice together where while I'm doing massage, she's doing Reiki. And one of the things that I really, usually after a client, when they leave, I'll go over a couple stretches that they may need to do, or, we'll talk about what was going on with their body, but it's very quick. It's not something that needs to be extended in any way. And it's something that I'm learning is, wow, I think there should be, what did we say, 20 minutes even, like a decent chunk of time with your practitioner to sit and talk with them after, to open up the elements of what the practitioner herself or himself actually went through while they were doing your session. And you can build on that. You can grow on that.
Yeah, no, I think it's necessary, at least for the type of work I enjoy doing. And I think that's, each practitioner has their own style, their own way of doing it. And during our sessions, it's, we're very quiet most of the time. Like we don't talk, and then intuitive things will come up, and then having that space to talk about that afterwards. And that dialogue is how I get messages and stuff, is how I ask questions and how that person responds to those questions. And in that space after having Reiki and massage and feeling completely calm and peaceful, it allows them to, I think, answer those questions a little bit differently and what things are on the surface. And then having that dialogue allows that person to work through those things by themselves. Because I'm getting messages the same way like you're probably getting messages. And it's like, it's not my space to tell you how to interpret my message. And I think that's what people also, they just assume, I don't like that word, but I don't know if a better word, how they just like assume like I'm going to have the answer for them.
Ooh, okay. Right? That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I go through that with massage therapy too. Like, I have this crick in my neck. Yeah. What am I doing?
And they're like,
I don't spend time with you. I have no idea what you're doing.
I'm only going to get the information at this moment. Right. And I'm not like, so I think that also happens as practitioners to be like, well, what's wrong with me? How are you going to fix me? And I was like, okay, first of all, Reiki doesn't work like that. Like it's a very gentle process, and it could take years for you to get the answer that you want. And like it's layers and layers and layers of different emotions and different things in life that you have to unravel. And Reiki just gives you a space to do that. And my approach is just a different, gentler way. And whatever comes into that session is exactly what you need at that moment. And what you need could be totally something different that the other person gets and needs. And they're never the same. They're never the same messages. They're never the same images or questions. I think that's partly what makes it so amazing, is that it's unique to every single person. Having that dialogue in that space really gives time for that person to figure those answers out themselves. And that's part of the process, right?
Absolutely. It reminds me of, I learned this. So like, when people say like flip a coin, for your answer.
Yeah.
It's not about the answer. It's about how disappointed you feel about the answer that you got.
Right.
And so, yeah, like your interpretation of something is here's what came to me. I'm not here to interpret it, and then leave the space for them to interpret it, which you realistically, the client can do whatever they want with the information. And so they may be somebody who chooses to interpret it in a negative way or a positive way or whatever way that they choose. But yeah, I can see that adding a little element of complication sometimes for you to be like, well, what do you mean? What does an elephant mean? Why did an elephant appear? Like,
I don't know.
You need to go to Thailand. That's what I would answer. I'd be like, Thailand it is.
Meanwhile, I'm like, didn't you have a little figurine in your bedroom? Like that's coming up right now. I can see that. What does that mean to you?
It means nothing to me. I've never been in
your room, but this little figurine's telling me that it needs to be seen.
Right. So yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a really surprising or crazy session?
They're all very surprising and unique. I think all different levels, from very humorous to very healing and physically seeing, healing improvements in somebody like within minutes on the table. I keep going back to this, like one of the first times that I had this session and I was giving Reiki to this woman and a friend of hers had passed and his body took over her body.
Wow.
In the middle of the session. And it was fairly new of starting. And so it was very surprising for me. And I realized that it had to happen that way in order for her to get the validation she needed. And then it also had to happen that way in order for me to like not be scared.
Two-part win right there.
It was like a choice. It was like for, 2 wins in that. And it opened a door for me to be very accepting of being a medium and doing Reiki work at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like he was like, you have no choice.
You have no choice.
I'm here.
You have to give messages to people if they want them.
Interesting.
And so, and it's amazing because it doesn't come through the same way every time. So that was a pretty profound moment of,
Yeah, I bet that would, I don't know. For me, I think that would scare me at first. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm in this.
Yeah.
Like, where's this going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And you're like, you got to hold your shit together because you're like, okay.
In the middle of a session.
Like, is this real? Okay, we're outside.
Like, sir?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Exactly. Pardon me. Yeah. So I think that was probably the most surprising moment. And that happened relatively soon in the beginning of my practice. And so since then, I'm just like, nah, all right, no big deal. Just, it's still very surprising, but I think that was probably the most significant because it took me a little time to accept that I could do what I do.
And maybe recover.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I remember like pulling over on the way home, like crying for a moment, like, what is happening? And having that moment of like realization of like, oh, this is so real. I think that I put off for so long. And then being like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I have to figure out how to do this.
I got a question that's multi-part.
Okay.
So I'll give you all the questions, answer them however it comes up for you. So have you ever encountered a situation where Reiki didn't work? What was that like for you? And what do you think caused that?
I don't recall it not working. People can not accept it.
You know what?
I think that's the difference.
Even when I was writing that question, I was like, I feel like there's a choice with Reiki.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like by consent. Like I can say, hey, I want to give you Reiki. And you're like, no, thank you. And your body's not going to accept that. Like your mind's not going to accept that. So you're going to have this wall up, right? To be like, no, thank you. And then honestly, whatever I try to do is not going to work because the gates aren't open.
Right. What would be some advice you would give to somebody thinking about becoming a practitioner? Like, is there something that you went through before you were going through this during the class that you would be like, I wasn't expecting that? Or obviously the medium thing is a big deal, but
yeah, I think I've laid a lot out there. Yeah. I think that self-Reiki practice is really, really important. I think also finding your people, having a group of people that you can learn with is really helpful because as you're experiencing all of these things, it can feel very isolating and you're like, what is going on? every subject, like the quantum physics and the mediumship and this energy work. And there's so much involved in it, and it's forever changing and growing, and you're forever changing and growing. And as you start doing this work, like you find you do shadow work on a regular basis, and you have to learn how to process your emotions really, really quick in order to be centered and grounded enough to help someone else. So if you have a shitty day and you've got a million things going on, before you walk into that room, you have to go, and you have to have tools in place in order to ground yourself very, very quickly. So I think having a group full of people, I found my teacher, and then I found you guys. I feel like that I had groups in all different areas, and then I found like my barn people, and then like I had to have all these different outlets, because I do a ton of different ways to like release and move energy in myself. So I know I can't be like a single way of doing that. That would bore me in a sense of like, I'm so curious. I'm like, like, and then I'm like, okay. And I'm very like physical, and I have to move, and then I have to like move my brain, and I have to like, it's constant, not in a spastic way, in a very calm, like collective, let it be way. But I have to be able to feed that and have those tools available to me to feel that. That's kind of rambly. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. I think to go back to your question, to those people, is finding those people that accept you, who you are.
That you can say things like,
and
this
I think
dead man walked into the body of this person I was working on, and they won't be like, what?
So, excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's
Absolutely.
Cool. Tell me more.
So I feel like, yes. So some of my friends have evolved into that. And I feel like the salon for me was definitely one of those spaces, as I was introducing Reiki to the salon. And then I was, giving Reiki to the girls, and it was like conversations. And I was like, oh, you guys are cool with this?
Like every one of you.
Every one of you. And I was like, oh my God, I love you all. So
yeah, that's one great thing about our group.
Exactly.
Is like, they're the most accepting, loving human beings ever. Yeah. And even the ones who have come and gone, they all were too. You know what I mean? Like, we just
people have it's phases, and then you have to just like accept like and enjoy that time that they were there. And then like, okay, that was that moment, and like, what's next?
Yeah.
I
feel like that's the only way somebody can survive working with all of us, is you have to be like the most open-minded and loving, and just like anything anybody says is okay. Like we're into it.
They're so into it to the point. Yeah. Whether you're having a really great day or a really crappy day, you're just like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel so accepted and seen. Thank you so much. Yeah.
For sure. All right. I have one last question. What is something that we didn't talk about today that you feel like you wish we talked about or brought up? And if this engages several more hours of conversation, that's okay too. But
so the first thing that came up were just like the animals. Like I do a lot of work with animals, and I don't know. I think the value of animals and their existence is underrated. And I think with Reiki practice, you can appreciate that differently.
So would you recommend, like, okay, because obviously you do Reiki at the horse barn, and you've been around, I know you've done dogs, and I think a cat I saw you post a video of one time. Was there a cat?
I'm going to be. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually, another memorable moment was with a goat. I did one with a goat and a woman that owned a goat, and it was pretty remarkable because she needed her goat to be part of the Reiki session in order for her to release.
Interesting.
And it allowed her to release just things that have been bottled up, especially with grief. And that goat literally came over and asked me to touch it. And then I was able to also touch her. And I was like that connecting piece. And it was like what she needed.
Maybe permission from the thing that she loves. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever done Reiki on a sick animal?
Like how sick?
Oh, I don't know. Because in my head, I'm like,
because I feel like a lot of them have different like diseases, and like there's things that we like work on and stuff like that.
I'm thinking like, how people, when they have cancer, right? There's usually
Oh,
always
yeah.
somebody in a cancer hospital that
Yes.
does Reiki and stuff, which I think is so powerful and awesome that.
Have you ever seen that video I did of that little dog, Cosmo? He's a little pug.
Maybe.
He had
I do.
cancer the whole time.
Oh,
And so I would give him Reiki every time. I would ask him because I have to do it very consent. And some
Yeah.
days he'd be like, nope, we're not doing Reiki. And I'd be like, and some days he would just snuggle up and he's like, can you just give me Reiki?
yeah, interesting.
And I feel like his brother also, because I watched his brother as well, and he passed away first. And so because our connection was so strong, he would tell me to give his brother Reiki versus him. And then he would, like, shortly before he passed. And then when it came time to Cosmo, he was like, it's almost like he needed that Reiki in order to help him and help his caregiver
Yeah.
overcome him passing. Because it's not just about the animal,
It's
right?
not.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know that.
I do. I do. I think about like my little Willow, my little diabetic cat for 13 years. Like, yeah, I feel like, I mean, I used to do a little kitty massage on her, but I feel like it would have been nice to know somebody who did Reiki on kitties. She probably could have loved it. Yeah. My little $1 million kitty.
Oh,
It's okay. It's all right. She's no
still
longer
here.
with us.
No, she's right here.
Yeah. she's actually coming through right now.
Yeah, she showed up at my house like 2 weeks ago, just getting me ready because I was like, oh, who's this kitty in here?
Hilarious. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. Hopefully you'll come and do this again. Maybe we can talk about different experiences and stuff that you've had as your practice grows. Yeah, I think this was great. I think we have a different idea for those of you who don't know what Reiki is. Yeah, listen to this. This is pretty powerful stuff. So I think that's great. And yeah, check out Aurelia's website and give her a jingle. I think it would be awesome for you.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my
This
God.
was such a
thank
new
you.
experience and so fun.
I loved laughing with you this whole time. It's been great. So, yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.